All right, Reese.
To order 12 April 2021. Statement. Marcy, would you please read the statement, please?
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 6th, 2021, and on April 8th, 2021, and was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7.
Okay, thank you, Marcy. Roll call, please.
Vice President Orberger,
Here.
Councilmember Chili,
Here.
Councilmember Pitsker,
Present.
Councilmember Weller,
Here.
Council President Shortway.
Present. Let's salute the flag. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands,
One nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, let's go right on to public comments. 3 minutes per person. Any member of the public wishing to speak, please state your name and where you reside for the record. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody abstaining? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the floor is open. Marcy, please recognize.
Sure. I'm just setting a timer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I did get one email that I believe is in reference to agenda items. I'll read that. This is from Albert Lasco. He wants to know what's being done to ensure the safety of the residents of Glen Harbor after the shooting incident in which a bullet struck one of our residents' garage from the shooting range on Drew Mountain Road. I am sure other residents near us are concerned as well. He is the Glen Harbor Homeowners President of the Homeowners Association.
Thank you, Marcy.
Okay. Otherwise, I don't see any other hands. I see no other hands, Council President.
May I have a motion to close the floor to the public, please?
Motion to close. Second that.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Seeing none, the floor is closed to the public. Let's just move to that discussion item, target practice on private property. Mayor or Chuck, if you would be so kind to explain the incident, what you can explain in case some members of the public aren't aware of this, and it feeds right into the email that was just read.
Chuck, you want to take that?
You're muted, Chuck.
Sorry, the
Okay.
dog was barking, but approximately, I believe it was around 3 weeks ago, that there was a report of a bullet that struck a home in the Glen Harbor area, development area. The police were called to that scene. They went out and spoke to the homeowner. They were informed that by the homeowner that they heard a lot of shooting in the area. There were also several other complaints of shooting in that area. They knew that one of the owners of property in the area, a tract of approximately 59 acres, that the person had actually discussed with him that he planned, after purchasing it last year, that he planned to do some target practicing on the property. And he said that he would likely have some friends come by and do some target practicing also. After speaking with the person that owned the property where the targeting practice took place, they examined the area where the shooting had been taking place. It appeared that he had formed a berm with soil and some trees to prevent the ricochet of bullets from that area where where the shooting was taking place to from going anywhere else outside of the property or elsewhere on the property. However, it appeared that for whatever reason, it was not successful. They went back and spoke again to the homeowner after conveying the information they were given by the owner of that property that he would be responsible for any damage that was caused, and he apologized for the inconvenience and that he would contact the owner directly to pay for those damages and to apologize personally. That's as far as I know that it stands. However, we have received other inquiries from the council and from people in that area that they had concerns about this particular situation. There is no current law in the state or ordinance in the township of Vernon that would prevent somebody from firing on their own property, especially when their boundaries or the size of the property is such that the boundaries are not close to any specific neighborhood or neighbor. So that is why I believe it's coming on tonight for discussion as to whether anything like that should change.
Thank you, Chuck. So I've received a number of inquiries about this and what the council's doing, and I've done, look at 2C, that's our criminal code, plus, being a retired police officer, work with it. There's nothing in the code that prevents this. Now, there is maintaining a nuisance, but it begins with an unlawful act. This was not unlawful, and it's the first time. But we all know it just takes one round. When I was a detective down in West Milford, I had 2 incidents that I actually investigated, and these rounds can travel. I mean, both incidents, one was relatively close to 300 feet. The other one was about 1,500 feet away. We have no ordinance to prevent this. Some people said there's a farmer's exemption. The farmer's exemptions come under for hunting varmints like woodchucks and coyotes. The farmer, in the process of him or her doing her farm work, they can dispose of animals that are attacking their livestock, and they can get permits to take the deer numbers. So I looked even further into this, and I think if we're going to propose anything, we do it slowly with due diligence. And I looked at West Windsor, Freehold, Colton X, and even West Milford have ordinances prohibiting ranges unless they get a permit and they're inspected. This may be something we may want to look at. West Milford even confines the hours of the shooting that's allowed. And again, we go slowly on this. If it's on private property, we don't want to be like the Cherry Ridge Rifle Club. I don't know of any incidents that I'm aware of in 28 years. They do it following NRA guidelines. This is not a question about Second or Right Amendments. We're not questioning possession or ownership, but it is the discharge of a firearm. And these bullets, even a simple 22, can go a mile. So I think we need to look at this and make it safe. Another thing I proposed to the administration is I sent in an ordinance, I got it from another town, where if a round does leave your property and goes on to the property of another without written permission, it causes property damage or injury, and God forbid, death, that there would be punitive measures. There's always civil liability, but punitive measures from the township with that, just as a recourse. And again, it just takes one time for a round to go, and it hits someone, and then it's over. So that's why I put on discussion. It's a matter of safety. I'm just throwing some ideas out here. This isn't, like I said, any attack on a commercial interest. Farmers have that right to, in the process of their farming, do away with varmints and things like that. But there's nothing about unlimited target shooting. There's no law prohibiting that I'm aware of. And again, I've done lengthy research, but if someone knows any law or ordinance that we have, let's look at it. Let's examine this. And again, I keep saying with due diligence, we travel slowly on this and address the concerns, because I've had many concerns about this. So that's my position right here. And let's hear from the other members.
Before you do, Mr. Council President, let me just say I hope that the public understands just by your comments that we are really taking it serious. And I just really applaud the fact of the amount of detail that you looking at this that you've already done. It's just the information that you've sent me. I share the strong concern of the residents. I mean, I really, really do. And it really somewhat concerns and maybe even scares me that a round hit someone's backyard, a patio, or building. You know, there could have been some innocent child there, what have you. And also, from talking to our chief of police, who have spoken, who's police officers have spoken in depth to the owner. The owner really was extremely apologetic. I mean, he was shaken by the fact that he could have hurt somebody. So we've got someone's legal right, and we want to make sure that we adhere to those with what we consider to be proper safety. And it's a conundrum right now there's not a real simple solution, but we're going to work hard and see if we can find one. We don't take it simple. And I just want to be able just to ensure the public knows and understand that. Thank you, Mr. Council President, for giving me an opportunity just to say that.
Anytime, Mayor. Appreciate it. Any other council members?
Harry, and I believe you and I have spoken about this, and we're both looking at different laws, and it's always about safety first. And I've said the same thing, is that if you're going to be an owner of a firearm, your first criteria is safety first. And if you're going to have a shooting range, one of the ordinances I was looking at talks about inspections and whatnot. But of course, we have to look at this with diligence and let our lawyers do their investigations. But we're not, we're not impeding on the Second Amendment rights. We're not impeding on the property owner's rights to shoot on his property. But the responsibility of ownership of a gun comes down to when a round leaves your chamber, it is your responsibility where it lands also. So I think the homeowner or the landowner understands that. But as Vernon grows and we're getting new people in here, it's also going to be diligent that when we look at shooting ranges, that if somebody decides they want to put a range on their property, whether it be a farm or 150 acres, that there be some type of ordinance where you have to have that inspected at least annually. And that's some of the ordinances I was reading that is possible, but it's not in this state. So hopefully we can get to something with that. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I like that, Andy. I think there needs to be some sort of inspection as well. I mean, what the mayor said, God forbid a child was hurt playing in their yard. Like, something needs to be done. It's scary. It's scary for those that neighborhood. Yeah. So thank you for looking into it.
Thank you. I agree. I mean, it could have very easily been a child or, anyone for that matter, some pet,
Anyone.
We were lucky that it was just a garage. So yeah, I think there definitely has to be some sort of inspection type of thing put into place for sure. And thank you, Harry, for all that research you did on that.
Thanks, Harry.
No problem. In West Milford, I don't remember if it's the annual or whatever, but I mean, at one time, there was a shooting range right behind a bar. I mean, and then ultimately we closed it down. Not too good, right? Have a few beers and go out and shoot. So I think we have to look at this in West Milford. I mean, they're right next door. Again, I haven't worked there in a while, but we have a great relationship with West Milford. We check with them, and maybe Chief Young can contact Chief DeBoer in West Milford, and they can discuss it. What are the pros, what are the cons? And we're not impeding on anybody's Second Amendment rights. So in the NRA, they have guidelines for ranges. I mean, the NRA would say, right behind us with this, safety's first. When that round leaves that barrel, you need to know what's downrange. So, Chuck, do you have any thing to add as a former chief? I don't know if you had incidents like this in Fairfield or not.
No, we did not. We didn't have the kind of large property tracts that you have here. Speaking personally, I used to live in Warren County on 30 acres, and I would, not frequently, but I would have times where some people came over, maybe once, twice a year, and we would fire in a safe manner on my property. making sure that all the rounds were directed away from the neighbors that I had on either side of me. And fortunately, I never had any issues there. But you're right, safety is the key. And I don't know why this particular incident happened, but it I think is important that the message was conveyed to that owner. I don't know what, if any, steps he has taken to remediate whatever situation may have caused this, but at the same time, we will look into it on administration end with the assistance of Chief Dan Young to find out what other municipalities in the area, large ones such as West Milford or Wantage or others, do in their particular jurisdictions to make sure that nothing like this happens.
Okay, anything else further? Okay, we'll move on, and I'll keep in touch with the administration and the fellow council members. Please do email the mayor and Chuck your concerns, and I'll stay discussions with our council and see if there's something we'll do, and then maybe we have another discussion and we pass an ordinance. So let's see where this takes us, but we'll continue investigating. So the whole community, it's just not that specific community, but the whole town needs to be aware of this and that we are addressing it. Okay, let's move on.
Thank you.
To,
Thank you, Harry.
no, you're welcome. Thank you. So let's go to the minutes. Number 7 on your agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the following minutes? March 22nd, 2021, which is executive. March 22nd, 2021, regular meeting. April 5th, 2021, special meeting executive session.
One quick question on March 22nd, regular meetings. Marcy, this is for you. Page 3 of 15 on the regular meeting minutes. Do we need to have a copy of the signatures on there, or is that okay with them being blank, the meeting minutes?
No, that's okay being blank. That's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, I have the
Signed copy.
signatures. Yeah.
Okay, that's my only question. Motion to approve all minutes?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes, but I want to abstain from the 5th because I was not at that session.
no problem.
Okay.
Council President Shortway.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Number 8, let's move on to resolution number 21-95, resolution supporting S3522, creating local part of the Public Employees Retirement System known as PERS. This resolution supports the creation of a local part for PERS. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-95?
Motion to approve resolution 21-95?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auberger,
Abstain.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-96, Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse Fiscal Grant Cycle FY 2022. This resolution authorizes a grant application. May I have a motion to approve resolution 96?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion-
The following resolutions, I'll read them in the record, but why don't we just vote on them all at once? It's all the same about a refund of overpayment, and I'll read the block, I'll read them all. And if someone wants to pull one, we'll pull it, other than doing roll calls for each one. So resolution 21-97, refund overpayment block 613, lot 415, CoreLogic. Resolution 21-98, refund overpayment block 526, lot 141, Jerry Howe. Resolution 21-99, refund overpayment various lots and blocks, CoreLogic. Resolution 21-100 refund overbill tax account block 16 lot 2 Q Farm Siegel Trust. Resolution 21-101 refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment HMGG LLC block 521 lot 5. Resolution 21-102 refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment HMGG LLC block 521 lot 5. Resolution 21-103 refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment HMGG LLC block 546 lot 1. And the final one would be resolution 21-104 refund overpayment due to state tax court judgment HMGG LLC block 546 lot 1. May I have a motion to approve the above resolutions that I just read into the record?
Motion to approve.
Second that.
Roll call, please, Marcy.
Vice President Auberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes. Council
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries for all of those resolutions.
Okay, resolution 21-105, resolution of the Township of Vernon disapproving of the County of Sussex imposing additional staff overtime election fees. This resolution disapproves Sussex County imposing additional election fees for staff overtime. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-105?
Motion to approve resolution number 21-105.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 21-106, resolution of the Township of Vernon authorizing an application to the Office of the Attorney General for the SFY21 body worn camera grant program. This resolution authorizes a grant application. May I have a motion to approve resolution 21-106?
Motion to approve 21-106.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, number 9 on your agenda, introduction, first reading of proposed ordinances. First one, ordinance 21-10, ordinance approving town center redevelopment plan. This ordinance approves a redevelopment plan. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 21-10?
Motion to introduce ordinance 21-10.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auberger,
Abstain.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 21-11, ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 5 entitled Administration of Government to update the structure of the departments within the township. This ordinance amends and supplements the Township Code. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 20-11?
Can I ask a few questions on this?
Sure.
Just so with these change of departments, will we need additional headcounts for any of these departments that aren't in the budget?
Not necessarily so. The primary reason for these changes is that for some years, our township departments have not been current, especially the planning and development department have not been organized in a way with our municipal code. And that's something that Council President Shortwood was very much aware of. And I know that he mentioned it a couple of times last year. At sometimes in the past, I guess perhaps back in 2008, our town, like many other municipalities, had a lot of layoffs. And one of the layoffs was our town engineer. And in most municipalities, the planning, the building, those organizations come under the town engineer. When we eliminated our town engineer department position and actually contracted that out, we didn't really change the internal structure of our organization. So we had divisions that were calling themselves departments. And so we really had to kind of get this straight. So there's no need necessarily for us to have an additional headcount related to this. It's just to get this structure in right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, one other question regarding this. Do you see, what kind of efficiencies will we see in this change in the organization?
We might see some efficiencies. I will tell you, I think that most of our organizations have been operating pretty efficient. And the ones that have not been, we are all aware of it. For example, the focus has been for some years on our building department. It was not so much an organizational structure issue. It was just that there were some things that they were not doing in the most cost-effective and efficient manner. We've actually hired a new person there, and there have been some efficiencies and some changes, but it's not because of departmental structure. I would say we've actually made this organization in a way so that the ones that the organization should enhance it, but I can't say that for sure that they'll be totally enhanced as a result of this. It shouldn't be hurt at all.
Okay.
Shouldn't make it much smoother. It was a long answer, but I think I understood what you were asking, and I wanted to try to, as clear as I possibly can, give you an accurate answer.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I'll probably have further questions later, but that's a good
Of course.
Okay, can we have a motion to introduce?
Motion to introduce ordinance 21-11.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Number 10, public hearing reading of ordinance. The ordinance is 21-09, calendar year 2021, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank pursuant to NJSA 40A, 4-45.14. This ordinance approves exceeding the budget appropriation and establish a cap bank. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 21-09?
Motion open to the public.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Seeing none, the floor is open. Anyone speaking, please just state your name and residency for the record so we get it straight.
I see no hands, Council President.
Okay, therefore, can I have a motion to close the floor to the public for comment?
Motion to close the floor to the public for comment.
Second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone abstaining? Anyone in the negative? Seeing none, the floor is now closed. Now may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 21-09?
Can I ask 2 questions on this?
You can always ask.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So,
No problem.
when we talk about this, I sat down with Danelle to try to get a better understanding a couple of weeks ago. We always, and I know it's for an emergency, and we always say, well, we don't want to cut the police or the DPW. And believe me, that's 2 things I definitely don't want to cut. But aren't there other things that we could kind of cut if we had to? Right? Like, why do we always say police and the roads? Like, there are other, and I know we're lean. I know everyone does a great job, but I don't know. I seen what the cap did to the Board of Ed and how they raised the taxes the last 3 years was insane. So that's my question. Like, why do we always have to say the police and the DPW? Because of course, that's 2 things I don't want to cut. Are there other things that we could cut and not affect those two?
If I can just address this, because I was on the council
Yeah.
in 2010, you would start with other departments or divisions.
Right,
You know, you don't want to ever touch public safety is usually
right,
the
right.
last.
But
So,
it is always public safety that's mentioned, right? When these
Right, I mean,
conversations come
that
up,
would
that's
be the extreme,
first.
but you're going to do recreation, you know, where would you cut? I mean, you just don't know. And
No.
it was tough back then when we were doing the cuts. Again, I think back then we didn't replace one officer, and that was brought on later on. We were laying off police officers, but if I remember right, we just didn't replace a police officer. So that would be the extreme. I guess
So-
Danelle's not here tonight. She had
I know.
a matter, you know, but it really, and of course the mayor and Chuck can probably explain it better than I can. It's a safety net.
Mhm. And then say we do pass this tonight, does whoever makes the decisions, God forbid, there is an emergency and we have to do this, do the council get a chance to vote on it again, like what the money's being spent on? Or is that we approve it tonight and then at any point they can just give this money out? Or do they come back to the council to get approval on what they're spending on, like a fire truck or something?
The council always gets approval, gets a word to say. In this form of government, the mayor is the executive, but the council is the legislative. The council always hold the purse strings. You might notice that I can make any kind of recommendation that I want to make, but I got to have the council's approval to do anything. I can't even sign a contract without the council. Tonight, we've actually asked for approval to request grants. The council really opposed the, yeah. So you'll always have. The real big difference is what we've done. Last meeting, we had the ability to be able to go up to 3.5%. So that if in fact we had some kind of emergency and we needed that additional money, we can actually go up to 3.5%. But then how would we deal with that 3.5% is always the council. All this council has done right now is to say, no, you can go no further than 2.5%. What I would really hate is to, if in fact we needed to make some kind of cuts, some kind of changes, and 3.5% would have prevented us from doing nothing, cutting anything. But one of the reasons, I was looking real quick here, one of the reasons why people always talk about the DPW and the police is that 18% of our budget is for police-related things. And you can tinker around with these other little things. It's very difficult to get a small percentage. I'm looking real quick here for DPW. I don't see that category, but that's another large one. And so when you start talking about roads and parks and other kind of things, there's just not a lot to cut. Ms. Chili, I was on the Board of Ed, and one of the things that I remember on the Board of Ed is that something like 85% of the board's budget was captured by things that you literally had to have. And the only way that you could probably over the years change that budget is by negotiation of your contract, because employees' salaries was one of the real big things. And then transportation was a real big thing. So the reason people go to those is that if you're going to really cut and have some real impact, it's going to be the big number of things that you've got to have. And the little stuff just won't, laying off a person here doing this or doing that, it just won't really make a real big difference.
No, and I don't want to lay anyone off either.
No.
So if so we approve this tonight, something happens, the council has a chance to say yes or no to that 2.5 again at some point.
Oh
Correct.
yeah.
Okay.
To how that 2.5 is really spent.
Okay.
You know, after all, that really, I do kind of like the checks and balances of this form of government. It cannot work if you have a situation where you don't have the mayor and the council working together.
Right.
If you have a mayor and a council who just want to spite each other, if the mayor wants to make sure the council never gets anything done they won't done, or the council wants to make sure the mayor gets anything done, it ties your hand foot. It literally locks everything. Look at our national government. this government organization is kind of modeled after that. You've got to be prepared to compromise and to work with each other for the best interest of the town. But one of the things for sure, Howard Burrell or no other mayor can decide how we're going to spend money by him or herself.
And I'm not questioning you. I'm questioning
I know you're
someone down
not.
the road. I'm
No,
questioning down the road.
Your question is an excellent one. It really is. And I know that's just a learning process. And I don't mean me,
Right.
but you know.
Because I do also appreciate that Andy came up with or Councilman Pittsger, the compromise, and that you did too. So that was,
Yeah. Well, you know what? Come up with the compromise because of the fact you've got to move on. The town has got to work. You know, last year we didn't even have to get to the point we had to use any of that 3.5%.
Right.
We might not even this year. So
Yeah.
why fracture the relationship between the council and the mayor over, I won't say nothing, over a hypothetical,
Right.
you know? And I really believe, I honestly and truly believe that with this council, if we got to the point where we literally had to hurt this town, I don't believe that this current council would not allow this town to be hurt. I don't have any concerns or fears about this. I really don't.
I agree. Thank you.
Welcome. So I guess, does someone want to make a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
President Warburger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chili,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to number 11 on your agenda, public comments limited to 3 minutes on any topic. Any person wishing to speak, please keep it down to 3 minutes. State your name and residence for the record. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion open the floor. to the public.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anybody abstaining? Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the floor is now open to the public.
I did get one email from Albert Losco. He wants to know if there's any updates on cleanup at the Wallace property. And that was his question. Next, I have Jesse Palladini.
Hi, good evening. Again, I had nothing to say until I heard a couple of things that Council President Shortway said. At one of the last meetings, well, first let me say accuracy is very, very important to me, especially establishing an accurate record. At one of the last meetings, Councilman Shortway said that a number of years back, in 2010, when he was deputy mayor, they cut a number of employees and the town never recovered from that. Well, I just want to establish for the record that in fact, today, there are many more municipal employees in Vernon than there were in 2010 when they cut exactly 2 employees, a full-time engineer and a full-time surveyor. Tonight, I heard him say, I thought I did, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Councilman Shortway said that they cut police officers at some point. And to my knowledge, that has never happened. And we have way more police officers today than ever before. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, your most important employee is probably police officers. For example, the town of Tenafly, where I come from, is 1 square mile, and they have 37 police officers. So, you know, if you want to compare, we have way fewer than that. But he did say that they cut police officers, and I'm not aware of that ever happening. We have way more police officers today than we did ever before. So I'm wondering why he said that. And if I'm mistaken, and you're not prepared to comment tonight, I could easily call the business administrator tomorrow. to get that accurate information. But to my knowledge, Councilman Shortway's statements at 2 separate meetings are not accurate. Thank you.
I see no other hands.
No one else?
Nope, that's all.
Okay, can I have a motion to close public comment?
Motion to close public comment?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Seeing none, the floor is now closed to the public. Let's start with the mayor's report.
Mr. Council President and other council members, before I use my mayor's comments to make another appointment to one of our many important boards, committees, and commissions, I want to first provide some context and some clarifying facts to a recent news article which highlighted our town. And number two, I want to share with the council and the public some of the key considerations that influence and guide the town's response to a municipal issue that comes up every year at this time. First, the news article to which I referred first appeared in the digital edition of our county's newspaper approximately 2 weeks ago, and last week was featured in this newspaper's Sunday edition. The article was written by Mr. Andrew Ford of the Ashbury Park Press and alleges that Vernon Township was one of 25 towns that paid police officers for sick time in violation of a 2010 New Jersey statute. Then this occurred during a 3-year period from 2017 to 2019. Now, I understand that the issue that is the subject of this article pertains to events that occurred prior to my time as mayor. However, the personal standard that I set for myself and my commitment to the residents of Vernon causes me to embrace the point of view that because at this time in the life of our town, I am the one who has been entrusted with the responsibility of serving the people of Vernon as their mayor, I should therefore make myself sufficiently aware of any significant municipal issues that come up on my watch. And so it is with that attitude that I have proceeded to do my due diligence on this issue. That due diligence produced the following 10 pertinent facts, and that I believe that it's important for the residents of Vernon to know about this article. Fact number 1, the New Jersey statute that is the subject of this news article is one that went into effect on May the 21st, 2020. This statute had 2 controlling provisions. Provision 1 stated that New Jersey public employees, not just police officers, who were hired after the May 21st, 2010 date that this New Jersey statute went into effect, could only be paid for accumulated sick time when they retired. They could no longer be paid for accumulated sick time on an annual or any other basis. Provision 2 stated that the total amount of accumulated sick time for which these New Jersey employees could be paid could not exceed $15,000 per employee. Fact number 2, although this New Jersey statute was in effect in 2016, the then municipal officials negotiated and signed a contract with our police union that allowed sick time payouts to be made on an annual basis, rather than only at retirement, as this 2010 New Jersey statute had directed. Fact number 3, I fully understand the inclination to point the finger of blame at the mayor, the council, and other municipal officials who were in office in 2015 when this contract was negotiated, approved, and signed, even though it was in violation of state law. However, it should also be noted that our town's then labor attorney, our town's then auditor, plus the public the New Jersey Public Employment Relations Commission, all of which had a responsibility to review this union contract for legal accuracy, also did not point out the fact that this contract was in violation of state law. Fact number 4, it was not until September 2018 when the town hired our current chief financial officer, Mrs. Donnell Bright, that this illegal contract provision was brought to the attention of the town by her. Fact number 5, after this illegal contract provision was brought to the town's attention by Chief Financial Officer Bright, both the town and the police union agreed that this provision was null and void and would no longer be honored. Fact number 6, prior to this legal contract provision being brought to the attention of the town did in fact make 5 annual sick leave payments to 4 different individuals who were hired after May 21st, 2010. These payments were in violation of the New Jersey statute that's the subject of this news article by Mr. Ford. Fact number 7, in 2017, annual payouts of sick leave were made to 2 Vernon police officers. And in 2018, annual payouts of sick leave were made to 3 township police officers. Fact number 8, payments to no single Vernon Township police officer exceeded the $15,000 limit that was imposed by this 2010 New Jersey statute. In fact, the total dollar amount of all payments to Vernon Township police officers was $7,912.44, or an average of $1,582 per payment. Fact number 9, while I don't understand why Mr. Ford chose to lead this article with Vernon Township and to write this article in a way that could lead a reader to believe that Vernon was a major violator of this statute, the fact is that the total $460,000 in payouts that Mr. Ford claims to have discovered was a total amount discovered for all 25 towns and not just Vernon Township during the 3-year period from 2017 to 2019. And the final fact, number 10, just 6 of those 25 towns, none of which were Vernon Township, accounted for approximately 60% of the total $460,000 that Mr. Ford claims to have discovered. And the largest dollar amount being $59,000 that was paid out by Washington Township in Warren County. As it relates to Vernon's current contract with our police union, former Mayor Shortway started the negotiations on this contract in 2019. And I completed these negotiations and signed the contract on behalf of the town in 2020. I assure everybody that this contract is 100% in compliance with this 2010 New Jersey statute. This news article, and perhaps rightly so, points out the error that Vernon and at least 24 other municipalities made during a 3-year period from 2017 to 2019. While I understand that it would not be as sensational or perhaps not even as interesting if the writer had pointed out the fact that Vernon took immediate action to correct this error as soon as it was discovered. But this mayor and this council team does not believe in simply pointing fingers at others. We believe in making things right. We are guided in part by the wisdom that was expressed by former President John F. Kennedy. President Kennedy said this, that an error does not become a mistake until you refuse to correct the error. And Vernon Township took immediate action to correct this error as soon as it was discovered. So now let's put this behind us and continue to work together to move Vernon forward. Let me now share with the council and the public some of the key considerations that influence and guide the town's response, again, to a municipal issue that comes up every year at this time. I address this issue not only because it comes up every year at this time, but also because Council Member Chili has communicated to me some of the concerns related to this issue that have been addressed to her. The issue of which I speak is the issue related to the removal of gravel that's a byproduct of the salt that we use in our winter road safety operation. We know and understand that the gravel presents some skidding, some slipping and falling hazards, and we therefore make every attempt to remove this gravel from our neighborhood streets as early in the spring as possible. The following are 6 key considerations that influence and guide the rate at which we're able to remove this gravel. Number 1, the town has only one street sweeper to remove gravel from the neighborhood street that's a part of our 70 square mile town. The type of street sweeper that we need and use costs approximately $300,000. And as part of our efforts to operate a cost-effective and efficient municipal government, we have chosen not at this time to purchase a second sweeper. We normally start the street sweeping operations in April, but in an attempt to get to as many of our neighborhoods as possible, this year we started this street sweeping process in March. We started neighborhoods where there is a large buildup or the greatest potential for danger from gravel causing skidding, slipping, and falling hazards. The street sweeping process is very slow. The street sweeper travels at a rate of about 5 to 10 miles an hour. In addition, because the street sweeper vacuums in gravel, when the sweeper container is full with gravel, we must stop the sweeping operation and empty the container, which is but one of the several necessary operational tasks that slows down this sweeping process. The town street sweeper is always in operation in one of our town's neighborhoods 5 days a week, unless the rain or wetness of the gravel makes it not possible for the sweeper to vacuum up the gravel. And we normally don't complete our street sweeping operation until about August. So in fact, there are going to be unfortunate residents who are going to see this situation not cleaned up immediately because of that. But we want the residents of Vernon to know that we understand this potential skidding, slipping and falling hazards that they face with gravel on their streets. And we want to ensure them that we are addressing this issue as soon as we possibly can. Now, let me finally move on to making another appointment to one of the many important boards and committees that we have. The residents of our town continue to reap the benefits of the mayor and council's earlier actions supporting our volunteers. We have seen this benefit in the form of a resurgence in the number of individuals who are willing to step forward and again serve as volunteers for our town. This resurgence is reflected in part in a new appointment that I make tonight to the Greenway Action Advisory Committee. On tonight, I appoint and welcome back to the Greenway Action Advisory Committee, Mr. Michael Chesky. The work of the Greenway Action Advisory Committee will be given a boost by the experience that Mr. Chesky brings back to this committee from his Master of Science in Educational Technology degree, his recent coursework in ecology and sustainability, and his experience from working with the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, especially his experience on trail building issues. Welcome back, Mr. Chesky. Members of the council, that ends my report tonight. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, let's move on to council comments. John, would you lead off, please?
Sure. The only thing I have 2 things now. The only thing I have is, once again, to make the public aware that be it the county or the road departments, the litter cleanup has started again. The town does the clean communities, a lot of weekends. I'm sure going to be booked with the different organizations that are out there to do their fundraising by doing that. So when they see the signs up, please slow down. And if administration can pass it on to PD, if they're out and about and they see whoever working, if they have the time to sit there for a little while to slow down traffic, that would be greatly appreciated. And as far as, and I've said this before, just what the mayor said about the street sweeper. I mean, back when I first started with the town, we had 2 sweepers and we had less roads, and we had tractor brooms that would push a lot of material off to help the sweepers. And it's the same story of doing more with less. And at some point, whether we rent, because the one we have now is a vacuum sweeper. So if he's all the way out in Cliffwood Lakes, all the way out on Lake Wallkill, he has to come back to town center, and it just takes time. The county runs both a vacuum sweeper and a mechanical sweeper, where mechanical sweeper can dump into a dump truck. So at some point, whether we budget money for the sweeper or whether you budget more for a rental for a while to help ease some of it in the spring, it's got to be done. So that's all I have.
Thank you, John. Kelly?
I have no comment tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Mhm.
Andrew?
Basically, one thing is where's the notes here? We've been working on these planters for the beautification committee. They have been completed. So Mayor, stay tuned, because we're going to need you, the Rotary, the Boy Scouts all together. And we'll get those put on place. John Olberger and I were speaking about getting those mounted. Well, they were completed this week. They weigh about 250 pounds, so we're going to need some heavy equipment to help lift them onto the fire hydrants that don't work. So that part is there. And then, as I mentioned before on the gun shooting thing, safety first. Real concerned about this, and every owner of firearms knows the rules. NRA pushes it. It is part of our right to own the arms, but let's make sure we put safety ahead of everything else. That's my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Andrew. Tony?
I just have a few. My first is, Harry, thank you for always answering my questions, and I have a lot, and sometimes it puts you in a bad spot, but I do take notes, and you did not say that you had to let go of a police officer. I just want to make that clear. You never said that. You said you couldn't hire one. So thank you for always answering me and putting yourself out there to answer me. Mayor Burrell, I just want everyone to know, every time I come to a question or an email, you always answer it. And like tonight, I wish people would stay off of Facebook. I know it's hard, I do it myself, but to go to you with a question, because you're so transparent and you're so great at answering all the residents' questions. So I would just urge people to go directly to the council president or the mayor if they have questions, and don't get their information from Facebook. I know it's hard, I do it myself. And then also just welcome back Mike Chesky. It's great to have him back on the Greenway. And that's it.
Thank you, Tony. I have no additional comments tonight. Therefore, John,
Motion to adjourn?
do I have a second?
Second that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Abstention?
Never.
Seeing none, meeting's closed. Thank you, everybody. Stay safe and have a wonderful evening.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Take care, all.
Good night.
Good night.